Welcome to my YouTube channel, and today we are going to be looking at how we can connect Microsoft SQL Server to our application. So right here we just have a simple UI, register UI page, and then what this is about is that we are going to be connecting the SQL Server database. I already have that designed, and I already have that populated with a table called users. So I gave that an ID, username, password, as well as a date register. You can also change any of the fields that you like. You can give your fields different names, so it's just up to you, but just make sure you give it the right data types. So for username, I'm using a varchar, which is for character, and for ID, I'm using an integer. So now we are gonna go into our the design page code, and we are going to be using something called using system data, and basically this is just what C# application usually use when you want to connect SQL Server to your application. So we're just going to be using system.SQL client, SQL system.data, and SQL client. So now that we have that there, the next thing we want to do is the database that we've already designed, with and populated with different field types. We want to connect that database to our application. So right here we are just going to be calling the SQL connection and using the connect function, and we are going to be assigning that to a new SQL connection. The good thing about this application is, as you can see, it's already sort of like populates what the next syntax should be, which is great. And then what we want to do is we want to go grab the connection string, because that is what we need to connect to from Microsoft SQL Server database to our application. So right there we are just going to be pasting that there, but we do not want all of this information, so I'm just gonna edit some things out, and just gonna make sure that we have the correct string attached, and so we don't need all of that, and yeah, I think this is just fine. So we'll want to save our file as well, and so now we have our SQL connection that we have just connected. So the next thing we want to do is that we want to also make our show password. We also want to add some code to that, and I just want to say for the UI component, we need to reference the name of the UI. So if we take, for instance, the password text box, it has its own reference name. The user text box has its own reference name. So I'm just going to come back here, and I'm going to change the password text box, and I'm just going to say it's better to keep it all lowercase. As C# has its own naming convention, but that is not part of this tutorial, but I'm just going to keep it all lowercase. So since I changed that to password text box, I am then going to be referencing that text box. So we just want to double check that actually saved, and yes, that actually saved. So next thing we are going to be doing is we are going to be copying that that file, we are going to be copying that element, and we are going to be putting some logic behind our show password checkbox. So we are just going to be referencing saying password dot text box, and we want to assign a method called password char, and then we want that to be equal to. So now we want to use the password checkbox, and we just want to say that the password checkbox should be. So basically, we're saying we want it to have either an asterisk or a or the letter that the user actually inputs. So we just want to have dot checked, and then we are gonna be making use of an itinerary, and we are gonna be assigning that 0. So we're saying, well, it's either it shows 0 or it shows the asterisk box. That's just all we're giving it. And one thing you should also know is that you can add your own logic into your into your application. This is just a tutorial and just simply how it works. That's just what I'm showing. So you can definitely tweak this to suit your needs. So the next thing we want to do is that we want to assign an exit code to our code. So basically, when a user clicks on the exit, the application should sort of like disappear, and that's what we want. And that's just a logic behind the application.exit. So we can save that. Now we need to add the button function. Now I just want to make this clear. The button function, what it does is that it will register the user account. So it's going to be a lengthy code process, but I just want to quickly explain what the code will do. So we would give it, we would assign the database, the SQL connection that we had connected. We will assign that, and then we are going to insert values. We are also going to be using the try, of course, the if statements to fill out the user text box, and also return something when a user doesn't actually fill in that information. So it will probably return something like please fill out the correct information. And also too, we're also going to be adding other logic into that as well. We're also going to be adding a try and catch error and an exception error as well. And at the end of the connection, when we actually connect our the database to to this register button, we then want to close the connection. So these are the logic that I'm actually going to be adding, to this code. And like I said, it's quite lengthy, and definitely I am going to attach the source code for this tutorial below my my page. So if you still need more insight on it, you can just check the source code for it. So I am just going to leave it here, and I'm just going to keep coding, and we are going to see how this would work at the end of the day. So now we have the logic behind the code, and now we just want to test our application. And remember, the whole idea is for the username and the password text box to actually accept a new registration. So I am just gonna run the application, and I'm just gonna call it, give it some username and put some password there. And what we want is that we want a pop-up box to tell us we have successfully registered. So as you can see, we got our pop-up box registered successfully. So that means the database as registered this user. Thank you for watching.